It's a live random thought before the reading by Nbtsky, right? All right. So before we nuke each other, these are the rules. And this has nothing to do with the reading. This is simply a discussion in a random thought. You got the presidential election going on. And you got all hell breaking loose out there in, the Middle Eastern countries. A lot of this takes place, and I said this is something I did not want to get in trouble for before, spiritually and energetically. You play out of the atmosphere. The United States plays out of the atmosphere. Russia plays out of the atmosphere. China is playing out of the atmosphere. They beyond the dome. They disturbing energies without properly addressing energy. Now, this is what you can't see, what you can't taste, what you can't touch. You can feel if you are aware. But this is what a lot of this chaos is about. It's about rules being violated. We want to explore, right? We want to explore. We want to see what space is about. We want to see what the moon is. We want to see what the sun is. We want to see what Mars is. We want to see what Jupiter is. We want to see these things. Outside of that, most are not acknowledging when they want to go and see these things and explore these things and experience these things. It's still energies that exist that we don't see. The majority do not see. And so when we go tap into these realms and we come up out our own space and we in that space without asking is a violation. And so those energies come down here and chaos is caused. Now, one thing I did see several times during numerology is that the earth is a 0 point. So that all that's created on the earth is the 0 point. How you know that these higher energies with higher knowledge, the all, right? The all comes in different names and taps into different diasporas, different languages, different systems, right? You got Christ, you got Allah, you got Al-Dumari, you got Buddha, you got all of these different energies, right? Those titles or energies, they experience the all. And there's many people on the planet that experience the all knowingly. Right? The as above, so below. The issue is you having space races. Who can make it here? You building stuff on the moon. You building stuff over here. You sending satellites over here. You doing this. You doing that. You doing this. Just because you cannot see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, or hear it does not mean it does not exist. And this is the problem. Your ass is on Mars somewhere. But did you ask permission to go to Mars? You on Jupiter somewhere with your satellite. But did you ask permission to go there? You didn't. And this is the problem. We become so physical as a collective that we forgot that we still have to ask permission. We down here in the physical presence. Physical, we in flesh. We came from non-physical into the physical for an experience. And as physical beings, we still trying to go over there and we don't even ask for permission. And this is a lot of where the chaos it comes from, it stems from. Because they don't believe, well, most don't believe, or these systems don't believe, or these politicians don't believe that these energies are real. They move and flow through humanity, especially when we're in violation. So that's just a random thought for everybody to think about. Regardless, it moves. The energy moves. You on Mars? What are you doing on Mars? Why are you investigating Mars? Oh, there's nothing there. Supposedly, no, it's nothing that you can see, smell, taste, or touch. You on Jupiter, which is satellite. No, it's nothing that you can see, smell, taste, or touch, or hear, because you're not in the same vibration. And that's the problem. And so you go over there and you disturb these energies, and you sitting here nuking the hell out of each other, and you think your nuke is under control because you're on the earth and it's not going to affect anything else outside of this. So that's not how this works. It just doesn't work like that. It's simply just not. It doesn't. It matters. It counts. It's there. It's a fact, right? If they choose to let go some nukes today, it's not just going to affect humanity, but it's going to affect the whole entire solar system. And this is what humanity has to understand. Period. People sitting here fussing and arguing over money, cars, jewels, all this other shenanigans. It doesn't even matter. Why? Because none of it will exist if certain world powers cannot get it in order. Hey, Matt. Yeah, so none of it will exist if we can't get it in order. Now, I have to come back in a little while to do a reading, right? If Russia can acknowledge multiple times certain things, then why can't America? Until it's respected, it's always going to be the cipher of technical difficulties. There's a certain group of individuals that have to be let free, and it has to be respected that they wealth they was born with, naturally tapped in. It has to be respected in order to bring balance. Until then, there will be no balance. And that's just not speaking for, it's just a melanated. No, it's not just a melanated race. It's a melanated race that keeps getting suppressed. And the suppression comes from manipulation. Period. And the fact that we've given money more power than our ability to be human beings. So, therefore, these are things that we have to work on. Now, personally, once again, I do not vote. That's not my thing. Why? Because, once again, we do not know what we're voting for. Most people do not have the time or energy. And outside of the time and energy, most people do not have the knowledge and understanding to actually be able to read these things and understand them and grasp them and translate them and understand how they affect themselves. So this is why I don't vote. That's my own personal thing. Outside of that, we have to understand it's not just physical. It's not just mental. It's not just emotional, but it's very spiritual. It's a very, very, very spiritual, energetic pull that takes place when we participate in these things, especially unknowingly. Not having the facts, not having understanding. You can have some of your greatest quote-unquote idols going in a direction. And the majority is going to go in that direction because of so. But they never going to take the time out to say, well, what are we doing here? What is this about? What are we paying for? Why are we paying taxes? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? They just don't do it. And so there's an irresponsibility in there regardless. Now, most people are going to say you irresponsible because you don't joke, because you don't vote, because you don't really dive into the concept of, you know, this party, that party. But irresponsibility is to vote and not really have a full understanding. That's irresponsibility. Irresponsibility is to vote, but you don't know any of the bills, any of the treaties, any of the agreements, what's going on a world scale, how is it really going to affect you, just your minuscule. And I'm not going to say it's minuscule because you need food, you need shelter, you need money, you need, you need these things to exist. But outside of that, and excuse the but because anything after the but is bullshit. So outside of that, you still have to see what's going on the world scale, because what goes on the world scale affects what's going on the community scale. Most people don't know that. They just voting for the community scale, not realizing that it's things going on the world scale that's going to still be opposing to what's going on the community scale, for those who understand. But anyway, I'll be back later. We're going to do this tarot reading on who's better for the black community? Who's better for the African American community? Is it Trump or Biden? So that's what we talk about later. Shout out to Georgia who asked that question. Later.